My name is Collins, and 6 months ago, my husband Marcus made me apologize to his mistress. Yes, you heard that right. Let me explain how this nightmare began. I walked into Marcus's corner office at Sterling Tech, where I worked as VP of Operations. My husband was the CEO, which made our professional relationship complicated, but we'd always kept things separate. Or so I thought. Collins, we need to talk, Marcus said, not looking up from his phone. About the quarterly reports? I asked, setting my tablet on his desk. No, about Stephanie. My stomach dropped. Stephanie Monroe was our new marketing director, young, ambitious, and apparently very close to my husband. What about her? I asked carefully. Marcus finally looked at me, his expression cold. She came to me in tears today, said you've been hostile toward her in meetings, making her feel unwelcome. That's not true. I've been nothing but professional. She showed me the emails, Collins. Your tone has been condescending. I stared at him in disbelief. Those emails were about marketing budget overruns. I was doing my job. Your jealousy is showing, Marcus said flatly. It's embarrassing. Jealousy? What are you talking about? He stood up, walking to the window. Everyone can see how you look at her. You feel threatened because she's younger, more innovative. Are you sleeping with her? The words burst out before I could stop them. Marcus spun around, his face darkening. How dare you accuse me of that? This is exactly the toxic behavior Stephanie complained about. Marcus, I'm your wife. And she's a valued employee who deserves respect. You will apologize to her. Today. I felt like I'd been slapped. You're making me apologize to your mistress? She's not my mistress. God, Collins, your paranoia is out of control. Maybe you need therapy. My best friend Rachel knocked on the door. Sorry to interrupt. Collins, we have that investor call in 5 minutes. She'll be there, Marcus said dismissively, after she takes care of this situation. Rachel's eyes met mine, concerned. Everything okay? Fine, I lied. I'll meet you there. After Rachel left, Marcus crossed his arms. Stephanie is in her office waiting. You're going to apologize for your unprofessional behavior, or we're going to have a serious problem. And if I don't? Then maybe you should reconsider your position at this company. I won't have executives creating hostile work environments. The threat was clear. Apologize or lose my job. At my own husband's company. I walked to Stephanie's office like a woman heading to her execution. She sat behind her desk, a slight smirk playing on her lips. Collins, come in, she said sweetly. Marcus said you wanted to talk? I forced the words out. I wanted to apologize if I came across as harsh in my emails. That wasn't my intention. Oh, don't worry about it, Stephanie said, examining her nails. I understand it must be difficult, seeing younger women succeed where you've plateaued. My hands clenched. Excuse me? I just mean, you've been VP for 5 years now. Some people hit their ceiling, you know? It's nothing to be ashamed of. Is there anything else? I asked through gritted teeth. No, that's all. Thanks for stopping by. She smiled, and I saw the victory in her eyes. I walked out, feeling humiliated and furious. Rachel grabbed my arm in the hallway. What the hell was that about? She whispered urgently. Not here, I muttered. My office. Now. Once we were alone, I collapsed into my chair. He's having an affair with her, Rachel. I know it. That's what I've been trying to tell you. I've seen them having lunch together 3 times this week, always at that restaurant on 5th Street. He made me apologize to her, his mistress, like I was the problem. Rachel sat across from me, her expression serious. Collins, there's more. I've been noticing some irregularities in the expense reports. Large amounts being approved by Marcus without proper documentation. What kind of amounts? Tens of thousands, all coded as business development, but with no details. And guess who's been submitting most of them? Stephanie, I said flatly. Bingo. I think they're embezzling, Collins. And if this blows up, as Vice President of Operations, who do you think they'll blame? The pieces started falling into place. The affair, the hostility, making me apologize. It was all part of pushing me out. We need evidence, I said. Everything you can find. And Rachel? We need a lawyer. The next morning, I sat in David Chen's law office, a recommendation from Rachel's cousin. He was a corporate attorney with a reputation for being ruthless. Mrs. Sterling, tell me everything, David said, his pen poised over a legal pad. I laid it all out, the affair, the forced apology, the financial irregularities. David's expression grew more serious with each detail. How much access do you have to company financials? He asked. Complete access. I'm VP of Operations. I oversee all department budgets. Then here's what we're going to do, David said, leaning forward. You're going to document everything. Every inappropriate expense, every questionable transaction. We're building 2 cases, one for divorce and one for corporate fraud. Will it be enough? If what you're describing is true, they'll both lose everything. But Collins, you need to be careful. If they suspect you know, they might move faster to frame you. What should I do? Act normal. Play the dutiful wife. And meanwhile, copy everything you can get your hands on. I spent the next 3 weeks living a double life. At home, I pretended everything was fine while Marcus grew more distant. At work, I smiled at Stephanie while secretly copying every financial document I could access. Rachel helped me track Marcus's schedule. He's meeting Stephanie at the Riverside Hotel every Tuesday and Thursday, she reported. Room 412. Same room every time. How do you know the room number? I befriended the front desk clerk. She owes me from college. Rachel grinned. Also, I got these. She handed me her phone. Photos of Marcus and Stephanie entering the hotel, leaving together, kissing in the parking garage. Rachel, you're amazing. I'm loyal. There's a difference. Now, I found something else. She pulled out a folder. These expense reports show Stephanie charging personal shopping trips, spa days, even a weekend in Cabo, all as client entertainment. But I cross-referenced the dates. There were no client meetings. How much total? Just from Stephanie's reports? Over $300,000 in 6 months. But Collins, Marcus approved every single one. His digital signature is on everything. I met with David again that evening. It's enough, he said after reviewing everything. We can prove embezzlement, fraud, and breach of fiduciary duty. The board will have to act. What about my position? Can they fire me? Not without cause. And once we present this evidence, you'll have leverage. Lots of it. David smiled. Trust me, Collins. They're going to regret underestimating you. The next day, Marcus cornered me in my office. We need to talk about your role here, he said, closing the door. What about it? The board feels you might be better suited to a different position, less demanding. You've seemed stressed lately. There it was, the setup. Really? Which board members expressed this concern? Marcus hesitated. It was a general consensus. Interesting, because I just had lunch with James Wilson yesterday. He told me how impressed he was with my handling of the Morrison acquisition. James Wilson was the board chairman and had always respected my work. Marcus's jaw tightened. Maybe you misunderstood. I didn't misunderstand anything, Marcus. Just like I haven't misunderstood the $300,000 in fraudulent expenses you've been approving for your girlfriend. His face went white. I don't know what you're talking about. Of course you don't. Just like you don't know about the hotel room, or the Cabo trip, or any of the other company funds you've been stealing. You're making wild accusations. I have documentation, photos, witness statements, and as of this morning, the board has copies of everything. Marcus stepped toward me, his voice dangerous. You're going to regret this, Collins. No, Marcus. You are. Meetings in an hour. Conference room A. I suggest you bring a lawyer. The emergency board meeting felt like walking into battle. James Wilson sat at the head of the table with 4 other board members. Marcus and Stephanie sat together on one side, while Rachel and I took the opposite side with David Chen standing behind us. This better be good, Collins, Marcus said coldly. False accusations against the CEO are grounds for termination. Let her speak, James said firmly. Collins, the floor is yours. I connected my laptop to the projector. 6 weeks ago, my husband made me apologize to his mistress. Today, I'm showing you why. The first image appeared, Marcus and Stephanie kissing in the parking garage. Stephanie gasped. This is a violation of privacy. Company parking garage. No expectation of privacy, I said calmly. But the affair isn't the main issue. The embezzlement is. I pulled up the expense reports. Over 6 months, Stephanie Monroe submitted over $300,000 in personal expenses as business costs. Spa treatments, shopping, vacations, all approved by Marcus. Those were legitimate, Stephanie burst out. Really? Rachel stood. I contacted every vendor and client listed. None have records of meetings on these dates. You weren't entertaining clients. David stepped forward. We have bank records showing transfers from company accounts to personal accounts belonging to both Mr. Sterling and Ms. Monroe. That's embezzlement and breach of fiduciary duty. Marcus slammed the table. I'm the CEO. I built this company. You're one of 3 founding partners, James corrected. You don't have authority to steal. Collins, continue. 2 weeks ago, Marcus tried pressuring me to resign. When I refused, he created documentation to frame me for financial mismanagement. These emails show him instructing Stephanie to backdate reports and assign them to my approval. That's a lie, Marcus shouted. The metadata doesn't lie, David said. Every document has timestamps proving Collins never approved these transactions. Board member Patricia Torres spoke. Marcus, did you attempt to remove Collins from her position? She's been underperforming, yes or no? James demanded. I suggested she might be happier elsewhere, Marcus admitted. Because she discovered your fraud, I said. You were forcing me out before I could expose you. Stephanie suddenly stood. Marcus, maybe we should explain. Sit down, Marcus snapped. Don't talk to me like that. This was your idea. You said we could use company funds, that nobody would notice. Shut up, Stephanie. You said if we got rid of Collins, we could run the company together. You promised I'd be VP. The room fell silent. James stood. I've heard enough. Marcus Sterling, you're terminated as CEO for embezzlement, fraud, and breach of fiduciary duty. Stephanie Monroe, you're also terminated. Security will escort you out. You have 1 hour. You can't do this, Marcus yelled. I absolutely can. The board has authority to remove officers for cause. James turned to me. Collins, we need you to meet with our audit team. Also, the board offers you the position of interim CEO. Your salary will be adjusted accordingly. I stared at him. CEO? You uncovered massive fraud and handled this with professionalism. That's what we need in a leader. Marcus's face turned purple. This is insane. I'm calling my lawyer. Please do, David said. The district attorney will be calling you shortly. We're filing criminal charges. 2 hours later, I sat in my new office with Rachel and David. Rachel had champagne hidden in her desk for emergencies. I still can't believe it, I said. This morning I thought I was getting fired. Now I'm CEO. Interim CEO, Rachel corrected, pouring champagne. But after today, they'll beg you to make it permanent. David raised his glass. To Collins Sterling, from apologizing to the mistress to taking over the company. We clinked glasses. James Wilson walked in. Sorry to interrupt, James said. Collins, do you have a minute? Of course. Rachel and David left. James sat down. The board took a vote. We want to offer you the CEO position permanently. Permanently? But the search, we don't need one. You're the person for this job. You've been carrying this company while Marcus took credit. Everyone knows it. Tears welled up. Thank you, James. More good news. The DA's filing charges against both of them. Wire fraud, embezzlement, conspiracy. 5 to 10 years if convicted. Wow. It's really over. It is. Oh, Marcus tried calling 3 times. Security banned him, but he's demanding to speak with you. What does he want? Probably to apologize. Maybe beg you not to press charges. What do you want to do? I thought about Marcus making me apologize to his mistress 6 weeks ago. Now he wanted my mercy. Tell him I'm busy, I said firmly. I have a company to run. James smiled. That's what I hoped you'd say. I'm sorry we didn't see this sooner. You trusted your CEO. He just didn't deserve it. After James left, Rachel returned. Is it safe? Get in here, I laughed. Rachel and David came back, and we spent an hour planning next steps. David would handle the divorce and criminal case. Rachel would help stabilize operations. Stephanie tried calling me 4 times, Rachel said. I guess she thinks we're friends. What does she want? Left a voicemail begging me to convince you to drop charges. Said it was all Marcus's idea. She was just following orders. Are you calling her back? Rachel snorted. Absolutely not. She made her choices. My phone buzzed. Marcus. Again. I declined. He's persistent, David observed. He's desperate, I corrected. His career's over, reputation destroyed, facing prison. Of course he's desperate. Another buzz. A text from Marcus. Please, Collins. We need to talk. I made a terrible mistake. I still love you. We can fix this. I showed them. He still loves you? Rachel read incredulously. After everything? He loves what I can do for him. If I drop charges, he might avoid prison. That's what this is about. David nodded. Classic manipulation. Don't fall for it. I won't. I typed, contact my attorney. Do not contact me directly again. Perfect. David approved. 3 days later, I addressed the entire company, 200 employees. The past few days have been chaotic, I began. Marcus Sterling and Stephanie Monroe are gone. Sterling Tech is financially sound, contracts secure, and we're moving forward stronger. An employee raised her hand. Is it true they were stealing? Yes, they embezzled over $300,000. That money will be recovered and reinvested in employee benefits and development. Another asked, who's the new CEO? James stood. Collins Sterling is our new CEO. She exposed the fraud, protected the company, and has earned the board's complete confidence. The room erupted in applause. I saw genuine relief on faces. After the meeting, employees congratulated me. Many shared negative experiences with Marcus and Stephanie. Bullying, harassment, unfair treatment. "You saved this company," one engineer said. "We were afraid to speak up because they had all the power. But you did it." That evening, presenting my strategic plan to the board, I felt something I hadn't in years. Real confidence. Not fake confidence, but earned confidence. Later, alone in my office, I reflected. 6 weeks ago, my husband made me apologize to his mistress, the most humiliating moment of my life. But it changed everything. If Marcus hadn't pushed too far, I might never have investigated. I might have stayed in that toxic marriage, working for a corrupt CEO, never realizing my worth. His cruelty set me free. Justice isn't revenge. Revenge is emotional and destructive. Justice is strategic, documented, inevitable. I didn't destroy them from anger. I held them accountable through proper legal channels. I protected myself, my company, my future. Now Marcus faces criminal charges. Stephanie's career is over, and I'm running one of the most successful tech companies in the state. They thought making me apologize would break me. Instead, it gave me motivation to take back everything they tried to steal. Have you ever been forced to apologize to someone who was wronging you? Did you stay quiet, or did you fight back? Like and subscribe for more stories about people who refused to be victims and fought back the right way.